Good evening and welcome to the joint broadcast of Gunner Shot and P Gurus. Today we're going to talk about global conflicts and the world order as 2023 ends. And for this discussion, I have with me Mr. Sri Iyer. Shreyarji, welcome and good evening and namaskaram.
Thank you so much, sir. Namaskar to all of you. Vanakkam, Sat Sri Akal. And viewers, you can do us a big favor wherever you are watching, whether it is P Guru's channel or Gunner Shot. If you have not already subscribed, consider subscribing to our channels. Also, please like this video because we are going to look at what the world is going to look like in 2024. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, you know, what the world is going to look ahead in 2024 depends on what has been happening now and what has happened earlier. That's the projection you do, and you'll get it uh, further. So for that, I'll just first and foremost show you a couple of maps, and then we'll move ahead. You look at this map, and this is where all the global conflicts are at this point of time, right? Let's go from west to east. You see at the north, Ukraine, it's been lingering on now, it's almost 2 years. Come down south, come to West Asia. We all know Israel and Hamas are still hammer and tongs with each other. But the interesting thing is further down south, across the Saharan Africa or the Sahel Africa, Sahel region of Africa, as they say, and that's also the coup zone where every second day there's a coup happening, and there are a lot of actual wars going on there which don't get even reported, right? Further, let's swing. If you swing further to the easternmost, that you come to South China Sea, and South China Sea is, of course, we all know what's happening, and we'll talk about it today because South China Sea is the next flashpoint. And from what I've been seeing it for the past, say, the beginning of this year to now, things have changed. And then, of course, India. India, you think everything is quiet, all quiet on the central front in India. But on our wings, Myanmar is in turmoil, and Afghanistan and Pakistan, the AFPAC region, is also in turmoil, right? I'll touch upon all these, and then we'll see where this whole story is going. Okay. Now, when you look at it, look at this graph. It looks a very hazy graph. You know what this graph is all about? This graph is about the fatalities which have taken place in state to state conflicts in, the whole graph gives you details from 1999 to 2022 till last year. Look at the year 2022. See the spike in the casualties. If you look at the casualties in 2022, and this is in state to state conflict, conventional conflicts, the fatalities of 2022 alone have been just about more than all the previous years in the past 20 years put together. And 2023 for sure is more. For sure is more, given the kind of casualties which are happening in Israel and between Israel and Hamas. Right? Same thing goes for non-state actors, in non-state conflicts. So what do you see in the past 2 years, 1, 2 years? A lot of conflicts, a lot of casualties. Okay. Now let's granulate this and to see what this is all about. Okay. We know the West Asia is in trouble. And when you look at Israel, there's a military war to the north and the central Gaza. And of course, it's spreading to southern Gaza, and there's a humanitarian war going on in southern Gaza. And this war, we know, is not going to finish off in a hurry. It's going to go on and on and on for a long time. And, this is a war which should not have happened, but has happened. Okay. Attacks against US military bases in the Middle East are increasing. So, actually speaking, from October 7th to today, the problem has slowly and steadily increased. Then you look at Ukraine. Ukraine is there. The pink portion is where Russia is. The blue portions are where Russia had gone and vacated. That war is coming to some kind of a exhaustion. But will it exhaust itself? Geopolitically and politically, they're not prepared to, go. Russia can't win, Israel, Ukraine can't lose, and vice versa. And that is where we are. Okay. And then, okay. Then let's look at South China Sea. Look at this area between Vietnam, Malaysia, Philippines, and Indonesia, and of course China. That belt, right? I'll focus on this because there are three, four things going on simultaneously out there, and then if you piece all of them together, then you get a picture. First, this looks like a, you know, it looks a little ugly, these maps, but these represent something. This is about the South China Sea. Look at the other map, South China Sea, and look at it in black. The gray portion is the land, and the black is the sea. From 21 to 22 to 23, those red lines indicate the Chinese activity in South China Sea. You see, it's increasing. So the Chinese activities from left to right, 21, 22, 22, 3 has increased. And I don't see this decreasing in 2024. Okay, now look at this. This is the kind of air activity which has been going around Taiwan. Okay, drones, air, all that around Taiwan. Again, from 22 August, November to December to March 23, April to July 23, and August onwards. You see again the air intrusions around Taiwan and the air activity, Chinese air activity around Taiwan has been increasing. Will it decrease? I doubt. Okay. Then this is a very important map. It's a small map, but it's important. The activities of Chinese warships beyond Taiwan, beyond the right, in the East China Sea and beyond, in rather the West Pacific, Northern West Pacific, is increased. And all this is not far back. We are talking of September. Okay. And then here you see the Chinese aircraft carriers have been also operating in this area. They've carried out two drills. And where is it? You see around Taiwan is the first island chain. You see around Guam is the second island chain. So they've been operating in this area. When you get the whole picture, what does it tell you? It tells you, right, something is happening between Taiwan, South China Sea, and around. So that's become a hot spot. Now, you add to that the Chinese fighters and their air violations have increased, and they're doing close maneuvers with US planes as also naval ships. So there is some, it is just not naval activity, air activity is also increased. And this has happened in the past 2, 3 days in South China Sea. Chinese Coast Guard has started blaming Philippines for collisions. There are three boats which have collided in near Philippines. Philippines boats been handled with water cannons, and they've been trying to ram them down by the Chinese Coast Guard ships. And today, uh, the Philippines President Marcos, he summoned the Chinese envoy, and he says, "No, I'm not going to deter by Chinese provocations." And this is going on. And this whole story has been actually going on incrementally. It has been increasing, for the past about 1 month or 2 months. Overall, complete area of South China Sea, it could go up anytime. And we must remember, South China Sea and Taiwan are the key result areas militarily, geopolitically for China. Right? Now, if you just look at if you just look at the global affair, you have Ukraine simmering, you have West Asia boiling, and Taiwan and South China Sea coming into boil. And what do you see? You see USA committed all through. So is USA overstretched? It is, right? It's but USA has not committed troops. USA has not committed troops, but it is financially in the game, and of course, its arms, it's stretched to supply Ukraine and Israel. And if Taiwan goes through, or tomorrow something happens, USA is going to be stretched. Now you look at China. China is a second superpower, global power, call it what you may, right? That's also involved. So where does it leave you? And China might see an opportunity to square off with USA in this area and achieve its goal of reunification of Taiwan. So this is the thing where it is. So let me ask you this question before I look at what's happening around India and what's India's role and all that. Where do you think, what do you think is going to happen in 2024 after the picture I've painted to you?
General Ravi Shankar, one of the challenges that China is facing right now is the internal rebellion. We don't know how many of the people who have been removed from their posts have also been deleted. You know the new meaning for the word deleted, right? And and therefore there is a power struggle going on. That is one side. The other side, this is what news reports are saying, because China won't confirm it. China tried to show aggression at Taiwan by launching, I think, 11 missiles. Three of them landed in Japanese waters, in fact, very close to some areas in mainland Japan. One or two actually went back and hit the same place from where they were launched. The others went somewhere else. So basically, the rocket launching area launched, that is the crown jewel, the way PLA talks about it. That looks a little bit iffy. So now we are seeing that instead of talking about Taiwan, they are trying to, rattle the cage of Philippines by doing everything in this Spratly Island. And in my opinion, United States made a huge mistake when they allowed China to build these things, to artificially create this island under Obama's watch. And you remember how Stalin controlled Chiang Kai-shek by holding his son hostage? I'm
Yeah, I remember
wondering,
that.
I'm wondering if Xi Jinping is doing the same thing to Mr. Obama. His brother is sitting in China.
We don't know. In any case, Obama is old story now, right? But the
Sir,
fact
sir,
is that
sir,
not what.
sir, yeah, sir, Obama may not be old story, sir. That there are two stories doing the rounds now. That Biden will not seek re-election in 2024, looking at his ratings, and they want a change in candidate. Two prominent candidates, sir. One is Michelle Obama, the other one is Gavin Newsom. Obama is Obama group. Gavin Newsom is Nancy Pelosi group. So now those two are hitting each other. Anyway,
Well,
these are all
that
back.
that but the fact is that China. Uh, if you go into China's history, despite all this, despite their sackings, despite X, Y, Z, they have always been aggressive, right? So when you look at what will happen here, definitely Ukraine is not going to. Ukraine will continue to simmer because there's no political, end game which is in sight anywhere, right? With Biden trying to still support Ukraine financially, and he'll push his way through. And if that happens, that war will continue. Israel Hamas will continue. There's no doubt about it. The new spark is here. Actually, the South China Sea situation, to my way of looking at it, is, it's three fronted. There's one problem in South China Sea, then against Philippines, then Taiwan. And actually, there's a fourth front, which can, or the fourth, spark plug out there, which can blow up the whole engine, is the one with Japan and South Korea,
Yeah.
right? And there's a joker out there called North Korea also. We can't forget, right? So if you see all this, that is also this thing, and I don't visualize 2024 to be any different from 2023. In fact, the things could be more complicated,
Yes. Very true. Very
right?
true.
right? That puts India in a position, right? It's in a position. What is that position? In my way of looking at it, India is in a sweet spot. Why is it in a sweet spot? Because these conflicts are happening for the first time far away from us. You're not touching us directly. And we have the capability of playing either the spoil sport or the mediator in all of these. Right? It depends on which way you look at it. But we are in a sweet spot. And of course, we have this opportunity to have our say against China in all this. Okay, right. So this is where we are, India, uh, on that front. But you had to turn closer home. I'll just give a brief idea as to what's happening in Myanmar. Myanmar, this is what's happening. If you see Myanmar has a huge border with China and, of course, a long border with India also. Now, there are rebels in the Shan state of Myanmar, which is in the north east corner, which is where most of these violet dots are. These violet dots or stars are those places where rebels and the army Tatmadaw have clashed. You see that, and that's happening on the China border. There are issues which are happening on the western border of Myanmar, along that is or eastern border. That's happening opposite Manipur, which is already in problems. And I've done a video on this at length. This whole story is not going to die down. And this whole story is about drugs. Because interestingly, the drug scene out here has exploded. Sometime back, the drugs here, I mean, this is also part of the Golden Triangle. The, northeastern part of Myanmar is the Golden Triangle. The drug scene here exploded in such a manner that today poppy is also a great thing and meth is also being manufactured here. And the market here is anything between 10 to 20 billion dollars. As a result, China is also having problem, India is also having problem, and our problem with Manipur is being compounded. So we have a problem on our flanks. And right, and now, of course, we have a problem in the AFPAC area also. I wouldn't say AFPAC area with Pakistan. Pakistan is as destabilized as it can be because along the Durand line, you have this Pashtun areas which is shown on brown. And in those areas, the TTP has become super active. This TTP has become so active that today Pakistan really does not have control over the Pashtun areas there. But the good part of this whole story is that Pakistan has to look westward and not eastward towards India, and it doesn't have the wherewithal to look towards India. So if you look at it, our flanks, either side, have a problem, right? But the problems are internal. There's no great spillover at this point of time. But that doesn't mean we can let our guard down. So internally we are stable. There's no doubt about it. Externally in our neighborhood, there is turmoil, but the turmoil is not directed towards India. And if you look at it, yeah, sorry. And if you look at the whole thing internationally or all over, like I said, India is in a sweet spot. So this is the prognosis for India. But then, if you look at it from the US point of view, US is, I think, going to get completely committed, and China is also committed in a large way. And take into account what you said, their internal problems which are happening in China. There's a power struggle very clearly, which can be seen, and their economy is going down. And the other problems which we discussed, the six other problems which we discussed about ideology, spoke of climate change, we spoke of food security or insecurity, and their military not being up to the mark, and all that in our series on the 100-year marathon or the end of the 100-year marathon. So China has this thing. So it leads us. We are in a global order which is actually no, I wouldn't call it even bipolar. It's completely multipolar. So this is what I had to say before I speak of the global order. We could have a discussion on what I've said, and then we could talk of the global order.
General Ravishankar, this problem that is brewing in Myanmar, India actually had to step in and help a group of Myanmar soldiers to escape to Mizoram, and then via Manipur they went back into Myanmar. Is it that bad that the army has completely lost control on the northern state of Sham? Is it true?
No, no, it's not true at all. That's not. I'll get back to that, and let me. Since
Sure.
you asked that question, let me explain in detail, because otherwise people will tend to misunderstand. Now,
Yeah.
let me explain this. Shan state, you know, is the state for drugs. Okay, there are a lot of drugs, casinos, a lot of scams, everything, and a lot of Chinese criminals take shelter in this area. Okay, and this is the area where Kuomintang actually ran off and took shelter in 1949. And when they took shelter here, the Chinese promoted the the Communist Party of Burma to sort out Kuomintang. Later on, to sort out the Communist Party, the Burmese army stepped in. I'm now still talking of the last century and sorted out the communists. The remnants of all this is there are three or four armies out there, groups, ethnic groups based on tribes. Now we know that ever since the army has taken over the rule in coup, and it's done it. It's been 2 years now in Myanmar. The economy has gone for a toss completely in Myanmar. Right. In this kind of a thing, the drug economy has taken over. Myanmar army is otherwise well, its own internal economy is very strong because there are, iron ores, not iron ore, minerals, gas, rubies. That economy is still with the army and it holds it. But the army wants a slice of the drug economy. Now those groups out there are, don't want to let go. It's more of a drug war going on. It's a fight between cartels. Now you will ask me what is the role of Manipur in this? Incidentally, people in Manipur, you see, when at some point of time, the poppy cultivation in Shan state had gone down because there was a glut in the global market, and Afghanistan had a lot of poppy. Okay, at that time, the people in the Shan state started manufacturing meth, which is made out of various chemicals. Right. Now, those chemicals were sourced either from China or from Manipur. And when they were sourced from Manipur, these Manipur rebels, uh, whether they were Methi rebels or the,
Cookie.
Kuki rebels, they were the ones who were supplying these chemicals to uh, the drug cartels. In the process, they started growing poppy. So, actually, the scene was the cookies were growing poppy, and the Methis were smuggling it. So they're all it's that has touched us. That's our problem. So this whole thing is a drug war, and none of these ethnic tribes or ethnic armies, so called, right, are in it for any kind of democracy. There's no talk of democracy. They only talk of defeating each other. And they don't have the capability to come down to the plains and defeat the Tatmadaw, and the Tatmadaw doesn't have the capability to defeat these armies in their areas. And this is historic. This is not the first time it's happening. It happened in 2005, it happened in 2009, it happened in 2012-13, and it's happening now. And the Tatmadaw or the Myanmarese army has gone through worse times, right? And in fact, they're pretty stable. Yeah, one odd case has happened where a few Myanmarese army guys have run into Mizoram. We have taken them over and handed them back. And after that initial rush, there is some kind of a stabilization out there. When I say stabilization, nothing is stable, but people are still taking a deep breath to see what's going to happen. In the meanwhile, Chinese, the PLA has deployed on their side. They don't want this conflict to spill over there, so they also worried. So this is where it is. The army will not collapse, but strife will continue till such time Myanmar is unstable. That will spill over to our thing, because just opposite Mizoram and southern part of Manipur is the Chin state, where there's ethnic similarity between our people and their people. So that's what Myanmar is all about. Any questions on this, we'll answer, and then we can take it further.
General Ravishankar, what I have been seeing thus far is that India has at least destroyed the poppy cultivation in its side, inside the border. And same thing the Taliban has done. They say that close to 90% of the opium crop is destroyed in Taliban, in Afghanistan. So that kind of stops all these factories that were refining that located in Peshawar and Karachi. So ISI has taken a huge hit on where it gets its revenues. Now on the eastern side, you are saying now that there is a glut and therefore Shan is also producing less. Is this glut now removed? Is it back to full? Because
No,
this
there's no glut
yeah,
now. You see, since Afghanistan,
there's
the
a demand now. Okay.
no, no, since Afghanistan has stopped producing poppy, there's a huge demand, and the demand is here. Okay, and the demand has come onto this place, and that's how. And this demand is not new; it's built over the past 2 years. So poppy cultivation has gone up. I don't have the. I mean, I have the figures, but poppy cultivation has gone up sharply in this area. So if you think that some whatever has been done in Manipur is the end of the story, it is not, because the money involved is too much, and our politicians, or some of our politicians also involved incidentally, right? And some of most of these militant groups are involved, and most of these militant groups with that money going for Chinese arms procurement. So there's a arms trade also there. So there are a lot of things happening out there. So if you think what we have done is enough, no, I have said it openly.
This is just the
Uh,
beginning.
this is just the tip of the iceberg. Look, it's a $25 billion trade out there. It's not a joke, and that actually it's beyond even China to handle this kind of a problem at this point of time. There are issues there. Okay, so let us see where it goes further on this whole story. So yeah, any questions on Myanmar? Otherwise, we can talk of the
Yeah,
larger
last
issues.
question on Myanmar. This chemicals that they are creating, like meth, crystal meth, and things like that, are they also producing fentanyl there now?
No, fentanyl is exclusively China.
China. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Sir, now it is increased more than 10,000 people are dying in United States of fentanyl now. 10,000.
yeah, yeah. Well, must
And
be, must be.
yeah, one of the interesting cases was that of guy called George Floyd, which is from where the BLM started, the Black Lives Matter started. Now the story is coming out that the autopsy said he didn't die because of the chokehold. He died because he was a fentanyl consumer. That's what
Yeah,
caused his death.
possible, possible.
So, so you have all these threads getting intertwined, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You'll have look in this thing. There's no one who's clean, and there's very few who. The dirt is it's neck deep dirt.
yes, yes.
If you
So
get
let's move
into
on,
it,
sir. I just wanted
yeah.
to know that.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, fine. So now, what's going to happen is that you see the global powers. See, the global order is set by the global powers. How do they set the order? How is the global order set? There's one country which is strong, right? It lays down the line, and for the past 20 years, 30 years, it is USA which has been laying down the line. And this is what yesterday I was hearing John Mearsheimer in a dialogue with someone else. He says, "Look, USA runs the world, as if it's a multinational." But then that's his view. Okay, and if USA was running the world for the past 15, 20 years through the unipolar time, 2 decades of unipolarity, then it has set the world order. Then the world order is further set by international institutions like UN, WHO, IMF, UNCLOS. And to make this world order run, any superpower, right, needs middle pass, right? After all, if you look at it, you have one or two superpowers that's been the state all over the world or throughout history. Then there have been a whole lot of middle powers, And then you have the global power south or the smaller countries. It's a three-tied system the world is in. Okay, so to run the international institutions and set a globe thing, it needs a middle pass. Who have these middle pass? They could be European pass, they could be Australia, South Korea, Japan, India, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, even Qatar. Qatar also, I call it a middle power, even though it's a small country, it has outsized influence. And all these. Of course, then some middle powers have been deliberately kept out of this whole show, like Iran and all that. Right. So these middle powers are important in running the world order. Okay. Today, with the big powers, and of course, now China has come up and says it wants its own world order. It has its own development initiative. It has got a civilizational initiative. It is laying down some security initiative. It has started its Belt and Road initiative. It wants to set up its own global order. So there are two global orders which are trying, and who's getting caught in between? It is this middle pass. Now, something about this middle pass we need to talk. You see, I've said all these middle pass could be economically strong pass, or it could be because of demography, because that's what these middle pass are all about. Or it could be oil producing or commodity producing. Like some of the Central American pass have a lot of commodity. Even a country like Nigeria has got a lot of minerals and oil. So it could be commodity. Because of that, they pass. But if you look at the middle pass, all these middle pass have a little constituency of their own around them, the smaller pass. They lead the countries around. Like just if you take India, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Maldives, Afghanistan, they are at some point of time dependent on you, right? And same thing, you go to Saudi Arabia, the Gulf countries depend on Saudi Arabia. Of course, there's a tussle between Iran, Turkey, and this thing for the leadership. But eventually, they have their own constituency on which they have to this thing. Now that is getting affected. Now the middle powers are saying, sorry, we are not interested in this nonsense. You do what you want. This is the new thing which has come out after this war in the Gulf, right? Because the global powers are competitive and they're not giving you any, results. And I see this turmoil, this tussle between the middle powers and the global powers, right? That's why you see increasingly a lot of India having a greater say, right? While the Middle East envoys who went to all the big countries to see how to get peace in Israel and Palestine, right, also came to India because India has grown in power. Right? It's a consequential power today. And of course, you want India because of its military, its demography, and its economy, which is growing. So the middle powers are growing up in uh, their own power structures, and they have to. There is going to be, I think, because of all these conflicts, you're going to have a place time where the middle powers are going to start pushing the global powers to say, look, we need a more uh, equitable world. I mean, take another point. Let's look at Argentina. Argentina, where you suddenly have a right wing president who's come in and is almost saying bye bye to China. He might not be able to do so completely, but he shifted his position, and he's got out of that grip. And so this middle power, it might not be exactly a middle power, but Argentina is a big country, so you'll see that changes a lot of equations. So I foresee in 2024 definitely this change in the global order, right? This tussle between the two great powers and the middle powers, maybe in a diffuse manner. There'll be some kind of triangular contest always going on, along with the contest, the military, conflicts which are going on. So we think we're going to see a peaceful 2024. I don't see it, right? If you see that, the only good thing which I see as an Indian is the Indian economy is unstoppable. And that we've discussed in the rise of India. So, and India is going to have a greater say in the world affairs, notwithstanding this Panoon case or Niger case and all this nonsense. You can't keep aside a country of 1.4 billion people who are growing at the fastest rate in the current thing. And this is what generally I had to outline in the global order and the conflict situation. We have any questions? We can discuss, or you have a viewpoint, we can discuss, and then we'll take some questions.
Sir, I agree with your viewpoint. I think as the action heats up in South China Sea and East China Sea, the United States is going to want to have access to India's naval ports because they need some way to take care of servicing. They tried a few pilot projects in India. They've been very very pleased with that. So there is additional business opportunities coming India's way. It could be something like submarine retrofitting or making sure things are okay because they need to be closer to the action rather than halfway across. Already it takes 5 hours by plane to come from west coast to Hawaii and another 5 hours to come from Hawaii to Tokyo. So you can see that there is a big gulf there. So the United States may depend or they may need India to try and quickly turn things around in case things heat up. Same thing on the west coast on the Gulf. That also again, US needs somebody who can they can reliably use that for including something like refueling. So I think India's role in trying to make this global peace, whatever tenuous way it is, to maintain it'll increase. And with the way things are looking, I think Modi is coming back for a third term, and that means that India is going to be politically quite stable. That gives India also some amount of leverage to try and boldly take some things head on. For example, try to control this Manipur conflict and so on and so forth. So I think India is good, but the rest of the world we have to wait and see how where the chips will fall. For example, Zelensky is coming to make one last attempt to try and convince Congress to give him funding. The Congress is not willing to give any funding back to Ukraine. So I don't know where that is headed. So there are these little things, little subplots going on. We'll know that in a few days what happened. But I think you've summarized it excellently, General Ravishankar, and maybe we can take a few questions now.
Yeah, we will. Before I take on questions, I'd like to request all viewers who are seeing this, please subscribe to P Gurus and please subscribe to Gunner Shot also, right? And I'd like to tell, this forthcoming week, I'm going to have some very interesting dialogues on Gunner Shot. Tomorrow we're going to discuss, this new equation which is coming up: China plus Russia versus the West, and where does India stand? I've got a fantastic panel, including Ambassador Gurjit Singh, Brigadier Arun Sehgal, and Brigadier Romain Dahiya to talk on this thing. Day after tomorrow, I'm going to discuss the PLARF of you know, China in detail. I've done a detailed analysis of that, and right, and then we're going to talk about Pakistan because Pakistan is an issue, and maybe one of in this sometime we're going to fit in the fact that what's the effect of Article 370 and what the Supreme Court
Right,
has today said.
right,
All these things are coming up. So those of you who are interested, generally I'm on at 8 o'clock in the evening. 8 o'clock is my sweet spot. So join me at 8 o'clock. Except tomorrow, it's going to be at 7 o'clock in the evening. Right. Okay. So we'll take some questions, but before that, Prakash is joined as a member. I think he's in P Gurus. Welcome. Sky King also welcome as a member. Uh, GDS Air, yeah, welcome. And Prajakta Rathod again, welcome as members. I'd also request some of you to join, Gunner Shot as members. Like I said, if you join me as members, uh, you know, it's for a philanthropic thing, right? So
sir.
I
Why don't
would,
you say it, sir? So you're doing a very
yeah,
noble cause. Please,
no,
please
no, it's
tell what you're
yeah.
doing, sir.
Oh, okay, well,
I've
yeah,
been
yeah, fine. Let me tell. Okay, let me tell. Look, I, let me put it across to everyone because there's a wide audience. Uh, I used to write, and I used to come on shows like this earlier, and I used to run pillar to post, asking people for money and all that. And why was I getting money? I was asking this for educating a few girls who can't afford education, whose parents can't afford education, and poor girls. So I said, let me educate them. And I said, I will work for them and pay for them. In fact, Sri IRG was also very kind. Last year he did pay. But then suddenly this year I decided that I'll start my own channel, and whatever money I get out of this channel, I'll keep educating these girls, and that's the way to go forward. So that's how it is. So if you people subscribe, watch my channel, or become members, or whatever you do, whatever you contribute, it goes for a noble purpose. I don't need the money. If it was for money, I wouldn't. I mean, my own thing, I am not interested also. Okay. Yeah, the Indian Army has given me hell of a lot. The government of India has given me hell of a lot for me and my children to be happy. Anyway, my children also don't need my money. That's a different story. Okay. Okay, they are doing they're well on their own. So that's why it's my request, and I'm not doing it for any other purpose. And of course, I have another purpose. Uh, I do an analysis which is absolutely apolitical. I have no politics. I respect Indira Gandhi. I respect Narendra Modi. I respect Lal Bahadur Shastri. I respected Gandhi ji. I have respected Chandrasekhar ji when he was a PM, or Gujral, because these people have led our country, good, bad, or ugly. It's in me to respect them, and it's in me to see what is good for India. And if these people had not struggled then with what they did for us, we wouldn't be so happy today. If today you are a power, it was on the basis of the foundation which they laid. You might find fault with the foundation, but the foundation is what they laid. And today, you have to build the first floor and the second floor. You might think, those of us who are in power might think that today is the best tower which is going up, but tomorrow's generation might have a different view. History judges us differently at different points of time. So my view is that everyone has put in his work and we should appreciate it. And we should work together for India as one entity. Right? I am neither left nor right. Okay. Uh, that's how it is, and that's how we are in the army. So I hope I have not overstated my case, Sri
No,
Ayarji.
no, no, you have not, sir. It's a very noble cause, viewers. I couldn't agree more with General Ravi Shankar. If you subscribe to his channel, watch the videos on his channel, that goes towards advertisement revenues, and thereby it makes it easy for him to support the cause of children, especially girls who need to have basic clothing, basic fees to buy books, and be able to study in schools. So he's doing a wonderful thing. He has got a nice pipeline going. So anything you guys can do, you can certainly help. It's very, very simple. We're not asking you to give any money. Just subscribe to Gunner Shot, and also watch these videos, share it among your friends, because the highest intellectual uh, thought process comes through in all these Gunner Shot videos. I can't say more. I don't miss a single minute. That's how serious I am. As a content producer myself, I go and listen to this because these are all generals who have, gone a long way, seen a lot of the world. You will not that he's bringing all these people together in one platform in 1 hour. You're getting that extract of something wonderful. That's all I can say, sir. Thank you so much for doing this,
Oh,
sir. And
welcome.
we, yeah.
Yeah, and one of the best things which I did, as far as I felt, was during the COVID time, I gave these girls small tabs, the cheapest tabs where you can put a SIM in, but with that they could at least attend to the classes. That's what I could afford then. I did. If tomorrow something else happens, I'll give them something better. But that depends completely on how much I
Yes,
earn.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
but I'll give them otherwise also. But I would like to work for them. Yeah. Okay, let me take this. Ask General Sir, Namaskar Sir. While the focus is on international conflicts, but there are also conflicts within nations too. Your take. I agree with you. International conflicts is a problem. There are conflicts within the nations, within nations. Like Pakistan is got a major problem going. You have Myanmar going. There are problems in Bangladesh which are coming up. Let's see how the elections go, how violent they are or not. Uh, there are the signs are pretty disturbing. There are this is also going. This is what's going to. You see, what happens, Magnet, is that when the turmoil is at these smaller nations, which happen, they put pressure on the middle powers, and the middle powers in turn from the global past. So it's not just that nation, problems at the highest level which are going to upset the global order. So the whole turmoil is going to be there, and I think 24 will be a year of turmoil. And we also have to remember 24, a lot of elections are happening. Whether good, bad, or ugly, they're happening. Who will win, we don't know. Who won't win, we don't know. But the elections happening. Even in Russia, there are elections happening. Even in USA, the elections are happening. Taiwan elections are happening. India elections are happening. Right now, elections bring their own equations into this whole thing. So you'll see towards the end of 24 some kind of stability if we can reach once these governments settle and start functioning, and then hope that some peace prevails, because the challenges in front of us in terms of climate change, in terms of food security, water insecurity, are huge, right? And we're going to have problems. Okay. Okay. Next, how long India can go ahead with U.S. relations? They ignore subcontinent issues. Example being destabilizing Hasina government, siding with radical extremism in Bangladesh. How we handle this? A very very interesting question. SAS, just subscribe to my channel. Come tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock. Right? We're going to discuss this. I have an ambassador and two international experts. Right, Brigadier Romel Duhia. He's just been to US. Sorry, he's been to Russia, and just come back after an international conference. And Brigadier Arun Saigal was there, part of a huge contingent from India to USA when Prime Minister Modi was there. In fact, he was conferring with a lot of think tanks out there and relaying back. He keeps coming regularly on my channel. So these people are going to discuss this very subject. So I don't want to, jump the gun on this, but it's interesting, interesting because the guys who are better than me who are going to talk about this. Okay, okay. General, please share your opinion on position Vivek Ramaswamy has carved out. For that, I would request Shreya ji, you have a program on this, and then I'll speak on your program on that.
Yes,
Right?
indeed. We will. In fact, it's important.
Uh,
I have been advising. I mean, he didn't. It's not like he called me up and asked for advice, but I have been advising him to only take three issues and stay with those three issues and come up with new examples, new variations on that. Not to spread himself too much. In my opinion, he spread himself too much. What happens is when you do that, then people think that you're not focused, and that is my 2 cents on it. And I will definitely have a hangout with General Ravi Shankar. Vivek is a very interesting study because he's one of the brightest minds. Certainly, on any debating platform, when it comes to stage, he is the smartest guy in the room. And what happens with that is people try to find ways to mess him up, and he is getting a little bit messed up, in my opinion. That is the hard part. Being a politician, you have to have that Teflon skin where you're not getting affected by anything the other person says. That part he needs to develop. He's only 38 years old now. He's got a
yeah,
long
yeah,
way
yeah.
ahead.
He'll
Yeah.
long way ahead.
So this is just the beginning. He's testing the waters, so to say.
Yeah, I agree with
So
you. But
yeah.
there are deeper things, the question I'd like to answer is when we'd like to discuss is
Yeah.
what is the impact of such a person coming up and other things. We'll talk about it some other day.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Right. US has been drawn into the opponent's battlefield. This may suit tactical considerations, but extended lines of logistics may not be strategically suitable in the long term. Akash, the point is, US is quite used to it. It's a global power with global thing. It's got over 108 bases all over the world, so its logistics are pretty well balanced to handle issues all over the world. So I don't think it'll have any issue on that thing. Okay, this is Desi stand. Do the Shan state or the Arakan state or the Chin state in Burma support Bharat? Are they against us or with us? Well, obviously, you have to look at it. Let me look at the map, show you the map where these are. Uh, okay, right? Yeah. Let me 1 minute. Yeah. You look at this. You'll have to understand Myanmar. The Shan state borders China. Okay, the Chin state and the Chin state borders India. Arakan state doesn't border India, except for a small bit. It borders Bangladesh, and it is on this thing. So none of these states support India. Very interestingly, what's happening? What happened? As this turmoil in Myanmar unfolded, the militants on our side, both sides, Cookies and Metis, started supporting militants on the other side and the armies on the other side. The PLA and the UNLF and the Methi groups started supporting the Tatmadaw or the army, Myanmar army, and the Cookies started supporting the Cookie groups or the Chin groups and the rebel groups through that link. Now, this was before Manipur problem started. When Manipur problem started, those chaps started coming here and doing it. Now, since the issue in Myanmar has gone bad, it has gone back there. So there, everything is transactional. Everything is transactional. Okay, and everything is ethnic, and the transaction is largely of the illicit drugs. Look, the industry is big. Okay, so that's the right. Okay, uh, right. So there is no one who's going to support you, no one against you. We have to play the game. We have to see. You look at China. China is also playing the waiting game. We all used to it. China is also used to it, and India is also used to it. When someone tells no, China will come through Myanmar and attack India, forget it. It will not happen. For the past 75 years of our existence, mutual existence, China, Myanmar, and India, we have never transgressed each other's state areas through this area. So you have to look at all that also. Okay. We say that China is declining and refrain from shedding blood. Don't put boots on ground. Yet tensions in South China Sea are raising. Attacks on Filipino and other ships have increased. What's the plan? They obviously want to scare people, right? They have been able to do this by scaring people. China has not got into a fight as it. China's true mettle will come if there's an engagement and one of their ships go down. And that day might not be far. You might see that happening in 2024. When that happens, how China reacts is to be seen. Look, when we did you see in Galwan, what happened? We lost 20 people. They also lost more than that, though they've declared only 4. But Galwan gave them a shock. After Galwan, actually the operations there froze. They took a hard line till the time we occupied Kailash Range. The moment we occupied Kailash Range, they backtracked. They backtracked and they left their defenses and went back. So when it comes to a fight, will China fight is the issue. So let us see. We don't know. So far, all these skirmishes are, tutu mai kind of a thing. Okay. So Utpal Banerjee, are the poppy fields in Myanmar being destroyed? No one will destroy them. They want to grow more. They are using better agricultural methods to get more output. It's big money. Okay. Right. Okay. I don't see. Right. I don't see any other major questions. Okay. Let me ask this. Good Dank XP. So, to use Indian OTT as well as Think Geo, make them popular. Otherwise, we will be dependent on foreign media publishers like YouTube, etc. Please support Desi OTT. Yeah, we'll do that. I'm sure we do that. Right. Yeah. Joydeep is a regular watcher. I cannot agree more. All PMs have worked for our country retrospectively. Each one is bound to be seen to have made. Yeah, I agree with you. So when you're in the present, you can never make a mistake. It's only when you're part of the past that you start making mistakes. Your mistakes will come out. Okay. Look, let's put it the other way around. Your face is always good. It's only when your base is exposed all your bad things come out, right? So it's a matter of time. Okay. Um,
There's a corollary to this, but I won't say it now.
yeah, yeah. How about one and a half a front civil war being brewed by opposition political parties against Bharat? I don't think there's any civil war. This is being made up to be a civil war. This is made up. I think you need to have a balanced view. Okay, politics is war without bloodshed. It will happen, right? They are opposition parties. They are qualified parties. Remember, they were yesterday in power. Today they are out of power. Day after tomorrow they might come back. So let's not, rule anyone out. Like I said, one has to have a balanced view on all these issues. Okay. Right, Tushar. Okay. How will India manage to keep law and order in the long term in the Northeast? Will it be through most infrastructure or more military? Tushar, what I'd like to tell you is Northeast is a very peaceful place now compared to when I first went there. Okay. It is due to a combination of government action, a lot of good things which we did in the Northeast to develop them, to develop their politics, to make things inclusive for them, to give them educational facilities, a lot of social activities which we took there, a lot of political initiatives which we took there, and then of course the infrastructure development, the normal development which we took place. So on the whole, Northeast has improved significantly, right? If I say it's only the Manipur which is in a problem, the rest generally are settled. There will always be problems in tribal areas, but otherwise it's quite settled. So I'm sure, I'm confident that in times to come, with a combination of many those things, we'll get there. I don't have doubts about it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Doesn't the prolonged campaign against Israel, Hamas, radicalize the population against Israel? You're absolutely right. That's what is happening, and that's the danger. All right, that's the danger. Israel, whatever it is doing against Hamas, is actually creating more people against Israel. How Israel will have to handle it, I don't see uh, Israel getting out of it. I don't see peace coming in here. Definitely not in the next 1 year, and definitely not in the next 5-10 years. The military activities might reduce in this area in 24, but peace won't come here. That I'm very clear. Yeah, should we get involved in the Burma conflict to our advantage? We should be hands off. We shouldn't do anything. Let things happen as they move. Okay. New. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Aman, for joining in. Uh, at this point, I don't know which where you're joining me or P Gurus, but
I
whatever
think
it
it
is,
is
you're
you, sir. I think it is you.
it's okay, whatever it
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Very good, sir. Very good.
Uh,
Yeah. Very
very
good.
good.
Yeah.
I have no issue. Sharmila, please request Lieutenant General Vinod Bhatia to avoid going to Pakistani channels. See, Sharmila, I think you have raised this question earlier. Let me tell you, we have to engage these people to put our point of view across. If you do not engage these people, and if Pakistanis do not hear us through their channels, they will not know our point of view. They will never know. Otherwise, you're going to only have people who don't understand what India is happening. So this is part of a game which is being played. So don't think, if you look at it, all these in black and white, right? Then nothing will move forward. But if you look at it intelligently, unless you articulate your views on a Pakistani channel and tell them off there, it is not as if he is going there to say Pakistan is good. It is there to tell you, you fools, don't behave like idiots. Otherwise, we will sort you out. That's the message which is right. Okay, right. Is America wants to open a front near Bharat border? No, no. That all this is all. Praful, don't worry. Nothing will happen. Right? It's not in. Right? Okay. So I think, Shreyarji, we've done with the questions. You have your final comments, we'll say. Otherwise, we'll.
No, sir. I think we've done a lot of coverage today. Viewers, all I can tell you is do support General Ravi Shankar's cause by all you need to do is like his video, share his videos, and subscribe to his channel. That's all you need to do. If you can do that, I think there are a lot of young, poor girl children are going to benefit from this. I can't say enough about this amazing stuff that General Ravi Shankar is doing. And thank you once again, sir. The country owes you a huge debt, and these are
No,
all
no, no,
things
they're
that.
not dead.
So the thing is,
They're not dead.
why do you have to do it, sir? I mean, you are so
No,
busy
no,
already with IIT and aerospace work, and you're also finding time to do this thing. My point I'm trying to say this is many of us feel like what the Bharat Mata has given us, we have to give something back.
Yeah, we
That
have to give
that
something back.
yeah, that is the thought. That is the whole thing here. So thank you once again,
Yeah.
sir. Namaskar.
Oh, thank you. Good evening and namaskaram. And we till we meet next time.
Yes, sir.